Hello, everyone. You're welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited. We have another phenomenal guest today. And before I bring her on board, I'd like to introduce myself and also introduce what the show is all about. Welcome to today's episode. My name is Sandra Ukoh. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Certified Team Member, Coach, Speaker, and Trainer, a member of Toastmaster International, a sales expert, and also an author. And I just launched my new book and I became a bestseller. So I'm excited and I'm glad to have everyone today. I like to know where you're connecting from. I like to know where you're connecting from, your name and your city and location. Thank you so much. And just before we go into the show today, I want to introduce what the show is all about. So I'm going to be playing the intro video. Just a minute. Welcome to another episode of Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh, a live show that brings people on the platform where we can glean from, where we alight and also celebrate and recognize leaders who dare to make a difference from all over the world for doing great things in their world. I believe there's a giant in you waiting to be discovered in a nest. You have within you right now all that you need to become that change agent and best version of you that God has made you to be. It is time to ignite you and discover your greater potential and to see the possibilities that exist within you to maximize your potential through this unique platform for mentoring and coaching, and how we can become better versions of ourselves after being through the stage of survival to success and to living a life of significance, where we can leverage the power of storytelling as a strong communication tool. So let's celebrate these leaders and join us on another incredible segment of Making a Difference live show with your host, Sandra Ukoh. You're welcome. Great to have everyone on this show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And just right now, before I bring in our guest, I'd like to just read about so that you know what she's doing in a world, how she dares to make a difference in a world. When you're already being successful in your career and you find yourself looking for what next, who do you turn for help? Someone who can help you broaden your possibilities, expand your thinking, and build on your strengths. And that's exactly what Maria Maier does. Formally educated and trained, Maria is not only equipped with knowledge in a field, but a lifetime full of experiences that have taught her the true meaning of the Japanese proverb: fall 7 times, stand up 8. Awesome. That's a great word. Maria learned the meaning of resilience, watching her parents work hard to survive the collapse of the communism era in the former USSR. She helped launch a program to make housing more affordable in the city of Russia, where she served as an executive assistant to the mayor, first deputy in a large city hall. Maria has a master's degree in business management and was certified with the Maxwell Leadership Organization in 2020. She uses this skill to support the development of conscious leader driven professionals, high performing organization teams, helping them discover and develop personal competencies to ensure sustainable success for themselves and the organization. Since relocating to the US, Maria has worked in higher education and currently lives in central New York with her husband, 4 school-aged children, and small white furry friend, Lisa. In her spare time, Maria loves spending time with her family, camping or bike riding, listening to podcasts, reading books, and serving diverse communities in various volunteer roles on local PTA and national PTAs. Optimist, international, and President Advisory Council for Maxwell Leadership Team. She's also an alumni of Rainmaker Summits with Power Team International. This is awesome. So much to glean from you today. I can see the wealth of knowledge. I'm glad to have her now. The next person you see now is Maria Axel. Great to have you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me, Sandra.
Your bow is so rich.
It's my honor and privilege to be here with you today. Thank you for inviting me. I look
And
forward.
thank you for being a very good roommate.
Oh yeah, that was
That
fun.
was how we
Yes,
met.
thank
We were
you.
roommates at IMC, the
Yes, yes.
International Maxwell Certification Program.
It was a great time. Yes.
There you
Hopefully
go.
pretty soon we'll be able to go again
Now
and,
I'm looking at going
learn
in
more.
August by the grace of
Yes.
God. I'm looking at going in August. Great to have you on this show, and thank you for making our time. I know that your schedules can, might be pretty tight, and thank you for honoring our invitation. And I guess our guests will be glad to have you on this show. I know you have a lot we can glean from. And likewise, I like to find out from you. Is there anything I didn't mention in your bio when I just mentioned? Sometimes when we exchange mails, I could have gotten your bio over a month ago. There could be something you did last week, 2 weeks ago that I didn't mention. You want to share with our audience?
Yeah, I guess, yes. I didn't put it in my bio, but that's a new shift that my business and just my services took recently within the last week. Is I'm very passionate about serving youth, being a mom of 4 kids and seeing the struggles inside out. I'm happy to start serving youth organizations, specifically here in the United States. We have homeschooling community, and the students are very hungry for leadership. They're hungry for
Yeah.
public speaking. So I was honored and privileged to be a guest speaker because I'm also a member of Toastmasters International. And I presented about public speaking, a class, and leadership. And we are invited to be, me and my other friend here nearby, we are invited to do more lessons with middle school and high school kids and the homeschooling community. So I'm very excited about it and look forward to more opportunities. And then another thing is also team building. I'm passionate about bringing people together and creating cohesive teams. So when it comes to adult world, like companies, I'm passionate to serve and add value to different organizations. Recently, for the past couple of months, was a very kind of needed topic as team building activities, so people can, bring all hands on deck and for everyone to feel valued, needed, contributing, and just communicating as people should be, after what we've been through all around the world. It's much needed these days. And so I'm passionate to serve in that capacity too.
Awesome. Great to have you. Awesome. That's a great one. Bringing teenagers together, to form teams. And that's a great one, bringing people to collaborate, bringing all the energies together. You find that they're able to do a lot more than they would do as individuals. And there's
Yes.
this saying that says one is too small to become successful.
Yes.
So you need
I
a
love
group.
that.
You need a,
Yes.
yeah, that's a great one. Thank
Mhm.
you for honoring our invitation. I'd like to find out from you. What is all the drive for all the passion, all the gathering of knowledge? What's the drive? What's making you, wanting to do more, wanting to gather more knowledge? There must be something driving you.
Well, I mean, we have a purpose, right? We come to this world to life, and God has a plan for us. And sometimes it takes different time frames, different amount of years or
Yeah,
days to figure it out. And what I learned from my past experience is that sometimes it's dealing with adversity. And I know you wrote just recently a great book about adversity and how people
thank
overcome
you.
and deal, giving great insights there. It's how we deal and what we become when we deal with difficult situations and overcome these obstacles. And I had, kind of a life changing moment 14 years ago in my life when I had to face some health issues. And basically, I faced my own mortality. I wasn't ready at that point because I was just a young mom with 2 little kids. We had 2 kids at that point, but it happened so fast that it really, like, God spoke to me and gave me a message to be extremely intentional and make my every day as it's my last day. So now when I start my day, I'm starting it with the time frame and in mind that how can I serve people? How can I contribute this today? How can I add value and be my best? And so that's the passion that drives me. That's how I just want to do more, be more. And my favorite quote from John Maxwell is be a river and not a reservoir. And so to just give more than you receive is my motto. And I just love what I do now. And I'm happy that we both are aligned with such a great organization as John Maxwell Global Leadership Certified Team.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very great. You said it all. Difficult moments, you're meant to go through it, embracing it in order for you to come stronger at the other end. We are meant to do more and be more. And that's all you said, or like the group we belong to, there's so much to glean. When I first joined, I was overwhelmed. So much to glean, so much to, the website, it's so much that you need to be guided to go through the website, the training, even after the certification. But it was awesome. And and that's why we're able to give more. And like you rightly said, we are the rivers, we are not reservoirs. Reservoirs are like stinking waters. They don't flow to others, they keep to themselves only. But as rivers, we flow to others. So in flowing to others, we receive better things, we get better. It's just like you having your feast feasted together. If you don't release your feast, you don't get any. You don't get anything. So in ordering too much than you ought to, you lose what you ought to get. And that's why I said, in trying to give out to the public, in trying to give out to the people that God has placed us in the community where we are, in giving, we are also growing ourselves. It is said that if what doesn't stretch you, doesn't grow you. So if you're in your comfort zone, there is no way you can grow. If you think all the knowledge you have is just for yourself only, you will remain on the same spot rather than improving or increasing. And so that's why I tell people, whatever you have, you need to give it out. You need to let it go. Share with others. Whilst giving others, you're also improving yourself.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. Yes. Giving to others and improving yourselves. And it usually does require, you're so right. I love it. I just used this in my last training, the rubber band analogy, and I gave it to all the participants because the rubber band is only good when it stretches, right? We can use it
Yes.
to tie our hair or wrap something around with it. But once the rubber band loses its elasticity, the stretchiness, it's no good. And the same with us, we can achieve more and we can become more and better only when we stretch, and stretching
Mm,
requires coming out of the comfort zone. Yeah, absolutely. You just can't sit on a chair all day long. You're not going to get
yeah,
anywhere.
true. Awesome. Great to have you there. I want to also find out in the mean while you're gathering all this wealth of knowledge, while you're going through all this training, were there a time in your life you had very difficult moments that you thought of ending it all and you don't want to continue? It seems so difficult. How do you move from where you are to where you want to be? How did you manage yourself through those difficult moments?
Yeah, actually, it goes back. I remember when I lived in Russia, when I graduated. So my dream was from sixth grade on. I wanted to go to English school. I just learned the alphabet, just learned how to say hi, my name is, and somehow in this head I got an idea that I'm going to be living in an English speaking country later in life. My parents thought I was crazy. Nobody approved it, but I insisted, and my grandmother helped me go to English school. So after I graduated at the age of 17, I started my economics degree and it was no longer needed. And I felt so depleted and kind of like, why did I even waste all these years? It was such a hardship. And the first several years were hard because I was way below the required level in this profound school of English study where we studied like technical translation, English literature, and grammar, three different topics, and very deep and kind of like a deep dive into English. We read Shakespeare in the original. But anyhow, so I realized that my time and effort that I spent on my education seemed to have been wasted because I didn't need to apply it anymore. And then I looked for the translation job, to be a technical translator interpreter through the Chamber of Commerce there. And the door of opportunity, it's just like seek and you shall find, knock, ask and you shall be given,
Yeah.
knock and the door will
Shall it
open.
be open?
Yeah. And so this opportunity came that I started working in the city hall. It wasn't directly related to exactly what I needed, but everything happens in our life for a reason, and you
Yes.
just have to trust God. And that's how at that time I was kind of too young to see it this way. Now when I'm more seasoned, looking back and reflecting, I see all that it was done with me and for me for a reason, and just to gain some more knowledge and experience and wisdom and perseverance to keep, not giving up on your dream and not just not dropping the ball when you have it in your hands. Just keep walking and living life, and more opportunities will come when you kind of are intentional about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great one. Yeah, we when what we go through life is actually meant to make us better. And that's why in life there are two things that happens to every we have a choice to make. It's
Yes.
either you go through your difficult moments and allowing it to make you better, or you allow those difficult moments to make you bitter. A lot of times, some people get bitter and they don't move on from where they are. They get bitter about life. They look for who to shift responsibility to. This person did it, this person caused it. But the moment you allow your challenges to make you better, I see challenges as a springboard to get to where God wants me to be. It's actually a springboard. So if you accept it and embrace challenges, it will open doors for opportunities because, like you rightly said, there's so much that God has put in us. We were created for a purpose. And until we discover what the purpose God created us for, we will just live life on our own terms and we will make no meaning. But when we begin to live life, understanding the purpose for which we are sent here, we begin to discover opportunities. And the midst while discovering opportunities, you will meet obstacles, challenges. Like you rightly would say, you don't find gold on the streets, neither would you find diamond on the streets. And once you find them, they're actually in their raw states, very rough and ugly looking. But what makes them fine or what makes them look good is when they have gone through the refiner's fire, which is what we call challenges when we go through difficult moments. So you find that when you pass gold or diamond through the refiner's fire, it comes out purer because all the impurities have been taken off. So it is with challenges. When we go through challenges, it takes off things that ought not to be in us. So we have to shed some things off. And just the very important and the great things in us, that's what God wants us to build on. And most times when we go through challenges, it's actually not meant for us. It's meant for those coming behind us. And that's why we have to look beyond ourselves. We need to go beyond the Holy Trinity. I, myself, and me. Everything is you. You need to look out, see who can I help? Who can I use my wealth of knowledge to impact what I have gone through? Who can I be a blessing to? Just like you rightly said, once we begin to live life intentionally, we begin to live life discipline by asking ourselves, today, who am I meant to be a blessing to? How can I add value to myself? How do I get better? Then we are ready to do and get to that level where God is prepared for us. Thank you so much for that answers. I had to recap it for those joining us who might be joining us in order to be able to get what the question is all about. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Then I also want to find out when you had great moments, what did you do? How did you celebrate it? One thing that kept me going was I read the 15 Invaluable Laws that talks about motivation keeps you going. So one good thing while you celebrate, because you want to be motivated to get to the next level. And it is said that when you're thankful for anything in life, God gives you more reason to be thankful. So when you're thankful and you celebrate life, there's always a reason to celebrate more in life. So can you share that with me?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I practice gratitude. The attitude of gratitude is my number one motto. And I start the day just thanking God for, waking up, for starting the day, for everything, my family, my kids, and whatnot. The list goes on. And that's the reason why I joined a couple years ago Optimist International Club, because I'm very passionate about just spreading the optimist creed around the world, and we all need quite a bit of optimism in our life and ourselves. And what I found also is that mindset is the key, because what we
Yes.
think about we bring about. If we start the day with the mindset of like some pessimism, being upset and frustrated, that becomes our center of focus, and that kind of like a snowball grows bigger and bigger. And then by the half day or the end of the day, you realize like, oh, my day was wasted, or like
Yeah.
my day was bad. So we put our thoughts into actions, and they just become our reality, and then it kind of shapes everything around us this way. So it's important to start the day and be extremely like mindful about what frame of mind you start your day with. Are you expecting good things to come your way? Are you expecting nothing but positive things? Are you expecting to bring the best version of yourself into the world around you? or are you trying to victimize yourself again and kind of come from a point of, I've known several people who have an attitude of like, woe me, everything is bad and it's somebody else's fault. So the mindset is the key. And I learned that just because, my mind becomes my reality, I start my day every day intentionally, and it grows like a muscle. You just have to do an exercise. Sometimes it's easy. It's not easy to stay positive
Sure.
all the time, right? It's like if some bad things happen one after another, people, forget about you or don't do what they said they would. There's external factors and external environments because we live in a society, right? So sometimes it's not up to us to decide just to be optimistic, but the way how we respond to it, and that's the attitude kind of part, the attitude of gratitude and just accepting even the hardships in life. So that's kind of what I really focus on and do every day in my life, the attitude of gratitude and positive mindset.
Yes, you said it all. Having in mind, the mind is a power engine. It's a strong powerhouse. And a lot of times it is what we have over the years, over time, have allowed into the mind that makes us. And that's why it says that three things you must do to yourself. You must guide your eye gates, your ear gates, your mouth gates. What are the things you see? What is it that you ought not to see or look at? What are the things you hear? What environments do you stay in? What are the things you hear? What you hear gets to manifest. A lot of times you think, oh, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to deafen my ear. It's not possible. Once you stay in a midst where people are saying dirty languages, it gets into you. And what do you say from your mouth? And it says whatever you have in your heart is what you say. What you believe is what you say. And it's what becomes you. It becomes your reality. So we must watch the mindset, our mind. What is it that we think? What do we feed on? And that's why I tell people there are three things also you must do. Who are the people you hang around? What are the resources that comes into you? The resources can be what social media platform are you often on? What TV station do you watch? What Netflix? What book do you read? What are the things that gives food to your mind? Then what environments are you finding yourself? Are they conducive environments where you can grow? But these are three things we must check out. If you're around the wrong set of people, you might have to cut them. I'm not saying fight all your friends, but you can stylishly know the ones that are positive, the ones that are taking you and helping you move in the right direction to purpose. You can associate with them more. Then you can dissociate yourself from those who are bringing you down, who will not speak the right words into you. So you have to hang around the right people. Then what are the resources? Do you take time to read? I know we're in an age where everybody's in a hurry and you hardly have people to read. Now we have a lot of software that makes reading easy. You can get software like Speechify, get an audio book, and read. It'll read to you like a podcast. And by so doing, you can decide 30 minutes every day, I want to read a great book that would influence me. So life is all about intentionality. Life is all about discipline. So whilst doing all that, you've got to be disciplined. You've got to be intentional. You've got to, take the bull by the horn. It's not going to be easy, and that's why we need to leave a zone of comfort zone to a zone where we're stretching. Like you rightly said, the rubber band has to stretch to be able to have a good grip. So we have to have a stretch in order to be able to impact our world. That was a great one you just shared. Your mindset must be right. And it is said, garbage in, garbage out. What do you allow inside of you? Excuse me.
Bless you.
What do you allow inside of you? Let's take a break, a water break.
Okay.
welcome back from our break. Great to have you back. Yeah, you're welcome.
To be back. Thank you.
Yes, we are. That's the thriller of my book. Yeah.
It's a really great book. I can tell by the cover. They say never judge the book by the cover, but the cover looks fire. Look forward to
No.
it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I know that you read some part of the book.
Yes, I did. I read the e-copy. Yes, I read part of
Oh,
it, but I look forward to taking into the deep dive into checking everything. I think it's just terrific. The first part of it looked very impressive, and I'm very impressed by your talent, Sandra. You gave so much advice there to your readers.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting me on that project. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great to have you. I want to find out, like we rightly said, we spoke about mindset, having the right people around you, making sure that the things you don't see, you watch your eye gates, your mouth gates, and your ear gates. We also spoke about having the right people around us, having the right environment, and allowing the right resources. And I know that sometimes staying put and reading a book might seem difficult, but technology now that you can use to read to yourself whilst you're busy doing other things while you're relaxing, you can spend 30 minutes every day to read a book, and we are lifelong learners. It is said the leaders are people who know it and shows it to others. We read, we open ourselves to learning, and it's a stretching mode. It's all about discipline. It's all about intentionality. And if you make a time and you're disciplined, you're able to come up with an agenda, a plan for the day, and you're able to follow your plan strictly, you will get there. Thank you so much, Maria. I want us to go to the next phase where I want to talk about relationship. How have you managed the relationship that have come into your life? People that God has placed in your part. That I rightly said to people, I said relationships are the ships we're right on to destiny. God gives us people for a reason and for a season. The people that have come into your life, have you managed them? Have you kept them going? Are you still in touch with some relationship? Other relationships you have to put off in order for you to get to your destined point? They're actually not helping you. What would you be able to say or share on your time and your life growing your relationship?
Yes, of course. Relationship is very important. And there are two aspects here. There's personal relationships and business relationships, right? And being in the current situation as a business owner, I find myself continuously networking, meeting new people, adding
Yeah,
value, serving them in any way I can. And personal relationships, of course, there are some fundamental, priceless, precious relationships that we cherish from childhood to now. I still have keep in touch with my friends from college, and even from my like early childhood. It's very different. So as we go through life, we got to grow through life, and every stage and every circle of friends we cultivated, we must never forget about those relationships. And there is a lot of gold in that. Our closest friends can give us priceless advice that nobody else would give. Our
sure.
spouses can give us some insights in terms of our strengths and maybe weaknesses, how we can easily overcome them. Our new networking partners, our new business partners can also provide a lot of, just insights. Like my business partner told me jokingly many times that I'm a queen of networking. I've never knew that and I've never thought about it, but she
Well,
kind of
also,
pointed into that strength of mine that apparently I have, just because she says, keep doing what you're doing. You're so good at it. I would say the key to building strong relationships is the ability to listen. We have to be good listeners. And we, when it comes to adding value or leading people, you have to read them before you lead them. And that's one of our thinking partners and Maxwell team said, Tim Elmore, he said this quote, and I love it. You have to read them before you lead them. And this relates especially to new generations, like our children are. Sandra, we're in the same kind of boat as parents, having teenage kids, Gen Zers, and how they are into technology world, how you build the relationship, say, with their peers. It's different when it comes to our kids, right? But when it comes to their friends, how you build these relationships. And they're becoming the majority of the workforce now. They're coming into graduating from colleges or just starting colleges, and it's a whole new language that they speak, because they grew
Yeah,
up with such a high advanced technology that we never had in our fingertips.
yeah.
So how we connect with them, we got to read them before we lead them. And that's, I think, the key to relationships. And one of the stepping stones there is, again, the ability to
You
listen.
have to read them before you lead them.
Yes, Tim Elmore said that. Dr. Elmore, he's one of
Well,
our
that's a
famous
great one. That's a
courses.
great word. You have to read them. I think you have to know them in order to be able to lead them.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it too. And I think it's important. Part of reading is just being able to listen. When you
Mm,
listen, not to respond, but listen to understand where the person is coming from, what their struggles and what their background, and see how you can add value and help them. Let it be with advice if it's necessary, or just some guidance, or even just sharing information, because your story might help to solve somebody else's problem, right? Might overcome, just it's all about taking different perspectives and sharing stories, because we all have so many different stories and so many experiences that we go through life, that we can help other people grow with them, not just go, but grow through obstacles and problems.
sure. I love that word. You have to read them in order to be able to lead them. And this starts by, having a very good listening skill. And that's why I tell people we're meant to listen more than we talk. And maybe that's why we have 2 ears and not two mouths. So we
Yeah.
have to do more of listening than more less and less of talking. And there's this word that says, people don't care how much you know. They only look forward to know how much you care.
Yes.
And that's what people are looking for. If you care for them, then they're ready to follow you. They're ready to learn from you. But if you
Yeah.
just come out and you're trying to show how much you know, people don't care how much you know. They want to be sure that you're empathetic, you care for them, you're truly wanting to add value to them, not because of what you want to gain in return. Whilst giving sacrificially, you would gain. But at first, it might look like you're losing, but you're not. You are growing. But whilst giving to others, why serving others? And that's why we're called servant leaders. We're meant to serve. And that's why in my sister Maria too is serving in a community, in our work. I'm also serving my community. I'm trying to add value. Like she's rightly adding value to the teenage around her, the youth, the mothers and the parents around her. So we are meant to, impact the world. We're meant to be a light, and that's what we are. Everyone, someone somewhere is watching and looking up to you. Someone is trying to get something from you, and that's what we ought to be. We have to be a leader, a true leader, a leader that is ready to serve, not a leader or an autocratic leader, not a bossy leader, but a leader that is ready to give. And that's why people care. People want to follow leaders that care about them, that care about their growth, that is empathetic, a leader that is true and authentic, not a leader that is trying to just, an eye service leader trying to help them in order for what they want to gain. That's a great one, sis. I appreciate that. And I also want to find out, how have you managed with your business? I know you were working before. What prepared you to starting up something for yourself? I know that in life, everyone gets to a level that you think it's time for me to pull out and do my own thing. So, what propelled you to starting your business? I'm asking all these questions because there might be people watching and following you that want to find out, okay, when do I know that I need to break out from my paid employment? When do I know that it's time for me to launch out to become an entrepreneur and start growing my business?
That's a very great question, Sandra. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so when I joined John Maxwell team almost 3 years ago, I did this kind of part-time, adding value and doing different trainings in the college setting with my colleagues, different staff members. And as I've seen them growing and enjoying the material and content of different programs that we used, I realized that, I was just ready for more. I was ready to add it to other people, not just within my organization, but add value and serve other communities in my community and beyond in the global arena. And being a mom and a part-time employee and then starting my own business, it was kind of too much. I felt like I was, juggling many hats in between.
Mm,
it was just hard. And I realized that, sometimes we get to the point where the road splits, right? And you like find yourself, it's hard to decide whether to turn left or right or stay and go straight. And that's how I found myself. I wasn't sure which road to take, but one thing I knew for sure, and I was again listening to God's words within me, that I just have to jump and build my wings on the way down. And I took this leap of faith just because I felt that this was truly aligned with my values, with my beliefs, with just what I can do for the world around me and the impact I made. And I took a lot of time reflecting on this, just kind of like what's my why? What's my purpose? What really brings me joy? What makes me cry? What makes me sing? And I realized that being connected to other people in the capacity I was doing with the Maxwell Leadership Certified Teams, tools and resources, that was my biggest drive. That was really like I found so much satisfaction in it, doing this, that I just needed to separate myself from the comfort zone, the paycheck to paycheck type of job that did bring stability, but really didn't provide, besides human factor and interactions with students and faculty and my colleagues. I didn't really felt fulfilled. I didn't feel it. I just kind of felt like I was going with emotion and just staying in that comfort zone. So I took that leap of faith and I jumped and stretched, just like we talked earlier about the rubber band. You have
So
to stretch and get out of your comfort zone. Was it scary? Oh, yes, it was scary because I've never been an entrepreneur. I've never started my business. And having four children and a lot of responsibilities, financial, and just being a mom and a fully present parent at home, it was hard and scary. But nonetheless, sometimes it's those things that scare you the most, bring your biggest fulfillment in life. So they just like John Maxwell says, the opportunities then in that fear zone. Things that scare you the most have the highest growth potential, and that's how you
yeah,
discover your potential. And that's I'm just grateful that I did it, and my family approved it, my husband approved it, and that leap of faith was well worth it.
great, 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 great. I love that word. The things that scare you the most are the things that have the highest level and highest potential of growth. That's a great word. And highest potential of opportunities. Like you rightly said, you have to have a strong why. You need to know why you are here, what you're doing, why you are doing what you do. The moment you understand your why and you have a strong why, then your passion will be so strong. That is to say, you're having a round peg in a round hole. You're not doing what others are doing. You're not just, going in the motion, like you rightly said. There's no way you'll be fulfilled. Then you have to find out what is that thing I can do, even without being paid, and I enjoy doing. What is that thing I can do easily? What is that thing that if I'm sleeping and I'm called upon, I can rightly just up into it and I do it well? You need to find out what's your why, what's my passion, what's my purpose. It is said that we are made for our calling, but we are paid for our career.
Yes.
I can go over the word again. We are paid for our career. Whatever you do for anyone, any organization, you're going to be paid for it. But you are made for your calling. So once you're able to discover your calling, you get fulfilled. You're happier. You've left the comfort zone. You have stretched yourself into what God wants you to be. And God Himself is also happy and excited that you're doing what He wants. And you find that, there must be a leap of faith. When you find that the people who are in their comfort zone do not want to take risk. It is said that it is even riskier not taking risk. So why would you rather not take a risk? So staying put in your comfort zone is risky. So taking risk is the best. It will help you grow. It will open all the opportunity. And that's what we call challenges. There are no tests, there's no testimony if you don't go through your test. People want to see what you've been through. People want to see the scars of faith. What have you been through? How can you tell me how credible are you? You have to have been through that route before you can teach or show anyone what you want to show them. And people only goes with leaders that are credible, leaders who have scars to show, leaders who have been through tests, leaders who have been through difficult moments. You become an authority in that field. And that's why I rightly said, when we go through challenges, we're actually not going through challenges because of ourselves. We're actually going through challenges to build ourselves for those coming behind us. Like you rightly said, now you're helping mothers because you've been in their shoes as a young mother, having four kids. You know what it is. So now you're able to help all the young mothers coming up behind you. So that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate.
Thank you so much for having me, Sandra. It was my pleasure to speak to you and to your audience and just share the experience together, because I learned a lot from you as you shared your story and commented. And I'm happy to share what I'm doing. So thank you. It's an honor and privilege to be here with you tonight.
Yes. And before we call it a day, I want to thank our audience too, who are here listening to us. And I hope they're getting a lot of nuggets. Just like myself, I'm getting a lot from you. You know, it's a great thing when you have leaders come together to rub minds together. You both gain from each other. The areas you're not probably skillful, you get to learn from the other. And that's what we are meant to do. We're meant to collaborate. When we come together, it is said one puts 1,000 to flight. When two comes together, they put 10,000 to flight. So when we come to collaborate or come to synergize to doing anything in life, we get to do it better because you come with your wealth of knowledge and your skills, and I come with my wealth of knowledge and my skill. And when we come together, we become a formidable force, making a change in our world. Is there anything you want to say? Maybe a unique story you have to wrap this session for today?
I would just want to add that when you align your values with your why, amazing things will happen. And sometimes, and I find this with my clients when I work with coaching clients one on one, it's really hard. We get so wrapped up in this daily routine and we run, like on this hamster wheel, constantly running, that we don't have time to pause and reflect. But making it your daily routine, let it be early in the morning or late at night before you go to bed, is so valuable when we can see what really we wanted, what we want to achieve and what matters to us, and like what's the big why. So when we align our values, what really is important to us, with our big why, that's when all these new opportunities happen and just come your way, and amazing doors will open, and that's when you find true fulfillment and live in harmony in your life. And again, thank you so much for having me, Sandra.
Yes, you drove me to another part that talks about the people of Babel who were trying to build the tower to heaven. You know, because they were one, they were in agreements. So, and the power of imagination, like you rightly said, what you allow inside of you really matters. So it says, because the people are one, because they're united, it is the word of God said, then there will be no restraint for them because they've been able to imagine a strong thing. They've been able to imagine to building a tower to heaven. So I want to encourage everyone that's been on this show that we need to be able to look beyond ourselves, have a great power of imagination. We need to see where we want to be. We need to picture what we want to do. Like you rightly said, if you don't see it, you don't get it. So we need to picture it. We need to have the great power of imagination and have been in agreement with ourselves in order to reach out to where God wants us to be. And then you'll find that it's easy because you've been able to see it. Like you rightly said, we need to be able to pause, take some time and reflect. In pausing and meditating, we're able to see, oh, this is where I want to be. This is what I can do. This is where I can get to. Once we're able to see it, it says, what you see, you become. What you don't see, you cannot. And that's what happened to Abraham in the Bible. When God wanted to help him, he said he took him out and showed him the skies. He said, if you can count the stars in the sky, then, and it took him again to the river, to the ocean, and said, if you can count the sand, God was trying to work on his imagination. So we need to build our imagination in order to be able to get to where God wants us to be. Thank you so much, Maria. And I also want to thank our audience too. Thank you for being on this show. Thank you for honoring the invitation. Thank you
Great.
so
Thank you
much.
for having me, Sandra. It's
So
my
I want to
honor.
encourage our viewers, please go out there. Let's dare to make our world a difference. If we all go out making our world a difference, then we'll all have a better world to live in. Thank you so much and have a blessed evening.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me.